Hello, everyone. Today we have with us Advocate Chandrika Dutta, a graduate of Amity Law School, Delhi, who went on to pursue her LLM in Information Technology and Intellectual Property Rights from the University of Sussex, United Kingdom. She has gained hands-on experience both in India and the UK, having worked as a paralegal with leading law firms such as Singh and Singh Law Firm and Vohra IP attorneys in Delhi. She's now working at EDF Energy, Brighton. This conversation today aims to guide law students aspiring to study or work in the UK with a focus on the LLM journey, practical aspects of studying abroad, and career pathways such as paralegalship. We welcome you, ma'am.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. So, could you tell us about your motivation to pursue an LLM in the United Kingdom and why you specifically chose the University of Sussex?
I think one of the main motivation for me to pursue LLM in the UK was because it's also one of the Commonwealth countries, and it has quite similar jurisdiction and its laws, which is what I would have studied in India, and I can apply it here. Plus, the international background is very good to gain from other people's experience and understand intellectual property law in a wider perspective.
Right.
University of Sussex, particularly, is one of the only universities that offers an LLM both in intellectual property rights and international technology. So that
Right.
is that is the reason I chose Sussex, because it had like wide areas to focus on within the course, and I get to choose what I would want to specialize in. My specialization at the end of my course was specifically copyright law, so that was really helpful with studying at Sussex.
Oh, all right. And what was the application and selection process like from shortlisting universities to writing your statement of purpose and receiving an offer?
I think the application process differs from different courses to courses, but with masters, particularly in the UK, you do have to provide a statement of purpose. I think
Mhm.
sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming for students to how difficult it can be write an SOA. But I think
Mm.
Sussex provides excellent guide on their websites to see this is the way you can write a statement of purposes. There are agencies which can help you with statement of purposes, and they can help you through the entire process of figuring out your references, your tuition, your accommodation, what course is
Mm.
good for you, what aligns for you in the future. So all of it helps you in forming a clear state of mind on what we can do. With in terms of references, the colleges do provide you references. For particularly my course, I did require two references from my professors, which I was able to submit. I did require my provisional certificate because the original
Mm.
certificate doesn't come until we graduate a year later.
Right.
So my provisional certificate, and they do have a basic minimum criteria of usually 60% or 70%, depends on what course you are applying for and what year. I think it changes. All of these informations are usually provided in the website every year, and they have new guidelines every year. And one of the other important thing for my application was also the English reference. In this case, my graduation was done in English, so I didn't have to appear for an
Oh.
English exam such as IELTS. But some other universities within the United Kingdom does require an IELTS or an
Mm.
English examination, even though your graduation is in English. So they would still require, but it would be specified definitely in the website or what
All
is there.
right. All right. And what eligibility criteria and documents did Sussex require for the LLM program, such as academic scores, as you said, and you mentioned IELTS, English proficiency, or references specifically
Mine
through
was
University of Sussex?
For University of Sussex specifically, I had to submit two references and my provisional certificate that I've graduated from IP University, and also I think and my statement of purpose. Yeah, I think that is all I
Right.
had to submit initially for a review,
Okay.
and then when the process gets accepted, when the application gets accepted, we move on to the next steps for accordingly.
All right. So, can you share your details about the LLM structure, the subjects you studied under information technology and IPR, the kinds of assignments or dissertations involved, and how exams were conducted?
The entire course gets divided into 3 semesters, the last
Oh.
semester being the dissertation itself. And the first 2 semesters are where the first semester you are studying on a general basis about IT, information technology, and IPR, but on a worldwide perspective. And in the second semester, you decide which specialization you would want, and that is different. I mean, there are categories of specialization such as digital intellectual property law, regulating the creative industries, cybercrime, if somebody is willing to study more about information technology. My specific specialization was copyright law, so it was related to regulating the creative industries, where I focused more on AI and how it, sustains with the copyright protection for authors. So you get to choose,
Okay.
you get your professors, you get your guides within the university where they can guide you or make you more aware of this. This is the specialization they're offering, and this is
Mm.
what you would study about. And through the classes, or they do have some clippets available in the website which you can go through if you want
Oh.
to know more about the courses for specialization. So that can help you understand if Sussex is a good fit, if the course is a good fit for you, if that interests you, that you want to work further in IPR or IT if somebody likes cybercrime. But
Mm.
that's a very good information provided, I think, and that's for every university's website that's there.
Right. And roughly how much did the entire LLM cost, including tuition fees and any scholarships that you might have received?
The average, usually, if I have to say, it's 15 to 20 lakhs, but I did have a
Oh,
scholarship, and some of the LLM students are eligible to apply for the scholarship specifically for Indian
oh,
students. And that's just within University of Sussex, not about another universities. So they do
oh.
offer scholarship which is up to 10 lakhs or maximum, and there's one which is up to 3 lakhs. It can be either of it. So I did have the scholarship, which is up to 10 lakhs. So that was
That
good.
was a great
And
help.
in terms of accommodation, with the tuition
Yeah,
in
right.
itself is
Yeah.
almost 10 lakhs. And then accommodation is separate, which is like 80,000 rupees per month. And
Right. I
if you
was
are,
just going to ask you only that, I mean, what is your, apart from the tuition fee and all, what was your average monthly living expense in United Kingdom? Accommodation, food, transport, and other essentials.
I particularly stayed within my university, so my transportation was limited to going out of the
Right.
university. But there are definitely people who stay outside of university, which are like more affordable accommodations, and
Mm.
it's easier for them to stay outside. Somebody would want to prefer staying outside, but within the university, the accommodation was roughly around 80,000 rupees, and then you would
Per
have
year, per
food
month.
per month.
All right.
80,000 rupees per month, and then you would have your food costs maybe like 10,000 rupees per month.
All right.
So that
All
that
right.
should sustain as a student you're living in the university. It should be all right. Yeah.
Right. And were there any part-time work options available during your study? And how manageable was it to balance work and coursework?
It does get difficult to manage part time, but there are part time opportunities available within the university. Or if you would want to work in the city, you can go outside and work as well. The University of Sussex campus is a bit far away from the main city. So some people would want to prefer working within the university so that they can juggle it between the classes and the
Hmm.
university. So I was working as a part timer within the university. There are certain visa restrictions. You can only work like
Oh,
20 hours a week if you're a student, and then they pay you the minimum wage in that case. And then it is quite helpful. It clears out a lot of your costs, such
yeah.
as food and your travel or your essentials if you require. So it is
Hmm.
quite helpful. They do open up the applications earlier when you come into the university or into the UK. So
Hmm.
one thing which I would advise is to apply as soon as possible, because they're limited, and a lot of international students, not just from India but other parts of the world, are also coming in and would
Right.
want to have a part-time job. So it's very competitive. But if you
Right.
apply as soon as possible, it is easier to navigate and get through it.
Right. After completing your LLM, how did it shape your career perspective? Do you think a master's degree truly adds value for someone aiming to build a career in the UK or internationally?
It does, I would say, because it opens a lot about your knowledge base internationally. If you're trying to study which is, a particular field of law which has a wider perspective, such as IPR, which is more of a like corporate side, it does help you understand a lot about the laws and the specializations and where you would want to work in. And within the UK, if I would have to say, my specialization did help me because then you're able to work with professors and do research projects and understand and contribute towards any of the researches the universities might be working on. So that is one of the major thing. If someone is doing an LLM, can go towards academia or paralegal opportunities within the field, or you are also in a position to explore other areas if you would want to, because you're at such an environment where the experiences are so vast and so varied that you can get access to such experiences from other laws, from a different country's perspective, or from might not be just always different countries, but like a comparative study of what, let's say, India does or what UK does in this case.
Right. And for, students hoping to work in the UK legal industry, what kind of career paths open up after an LLM? Is it possible to move into roles like legal associate, compliance officer, or paralegal?
It is, yes. I think with junior roles, they do train you a lot. They do give you an opportunity to understand and make mistakes and learn through your own knowledge of what you are bringing into the table, and they do rely on your experiences as well. So if you have an experience from India, or then I think that's a very strong thing to put forward in your CV, and let them know that you've worked towards other projects which can help them, such as document review or understanding court hearings or doing your research or being able to understand what kind of a contract we're probably discussing in a company. So they do value a lot of what the experiences you are bringing. So I think that's great. If you have an LLM, it can be a good
In addition,
way to have like a future if somebody wants to work in the UK.
right. And could you explain what the day-to-day work of a paralegal in the United Kingdom involves, especially in comparison to your earlier paralegal experience in India?
I don't think it's very hugely different, because when you're in a junior position, or in India or within the UK, you're still learning a lot about how the culture works,
Mm.
how they proceed with their researches, how they proceed with what is important for them while drafting. So it is very similar. I think one major thing is allowing yourself to understand different laws and how they apply, and doing a good research. And I think that is one of the major thing which is really important, research in any of the roles which within the UK, because they do expect junior position people
Mm.
to
Right,
be good at research, and like quick researches, not like taking too much time, but being able to present it quickly. So that is one of the major factor, and I think that's quite similar to what we already are doing in our law school, and we are learning through it. So it's very similar, I would say, working in India and in the UK as a paralegal. Not
right.
not
And
scary, that's for sure.
all right. Can Indian law graduates who are still based in India apply for paralegal positions in the United Kingdom? And what qualifications or visas would they need to be eligible?
They can apply for paralegal positions, but however, instead of paralegal positions, people who are coming from outside of UK and do not have an existing visa, they do have a system called traineeship, or like vacation schemes, or like trainee positions within big law firms or like MNCs, which they open like annually. They open those positions and they do offer it to international candidates. However, they're very competitive, and
Okay.
they I think there is a set format, or there's set tests that they would expect any candidate to go through and then go through the interview. And in cases where you are successful, the company would usually offer like a sponsorship, and it
Mm.
usually depends. In this case, they do offer like a skilled worker visa for any of the international talent they would be hiring from outside the UK, or like directly from India. There are opportunities available for legal apprenticeships and paralegal, but those are
Mhm.
more easily accessible when you're within the UK. In terms of when you're outside the UK, it's more like trainee positions, such as trainee solicitor or like graduate trainee positions, or like training schemes. They are there for different companies.
And that's what you'll get visas also for initially.
Depend, yes, if you're successful, they would guide you towards visa applications as well. They would have their own criterias if they would be willing to sponsor an international candidate or not.
Mm,
It
right.
depends of what the guidelines are for that year. The UK has been changing a lot of its visa regulations, so it would depend on a lot of the other criterias as well.
Right. And finally, what key advice would you give to Indian law students who are planning to study or work in the United Kingdoms, both in terms of preparation and realistic expectations also?
If you are planning to study in the UK, I think that is one of the greatest opportunity, I would say, at today's time, because you learn
Right.
a lot outside of your, comfort zone. You learn a lot from an international perspective. You get to study a lot of other different laws, and then you do get to apply it as well. You do get to work, and if you can, I think when I came to the UK, I also realized I like working as a research associate. I worked with a
Mm,
professor as a research associate, so that is a path which somebody can, more approachable as well. Somebody can explore. So if you are coming to study in the UK, it is good, but it is very competitive. It's not
mm,
all easy. So you would have to be
yeah.
more in the mindset that you're willing to put in the hard work and work towards it. And
Right.
in terms of other opportunities, rather in paralegal or legal apprenticeships or any junior roles within the country, it is competitive. I agree, but it's not impossible, and people are getting it. So if you
Right.
if you can work hard, so it can be done. That's definitely possible.
Well, ma'am, you've been incredibly kind and generous with your time and guidance here today. All that you have said, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.